We have 5 minutes for questions, and I think there are some microphones, some roving microphones.
Need a drink first.
Yeah, didn't they? Didn't take breaths. Did very well.
Hi, Pauleen.
Who said that?
Sorry,
Mike Bailey.
Could you say who you are, because it's being recorded? It'd be good if we had record.
Mike Bailey. I've got a question. If I were to buy a dog as a pet from a breeder, there were 6 dogs in the litter. The breeder chooses one as a puppy that she wants to keep, possibly to breed from. The other 5 she sells as pets. They all get desexed. Maybe in a couple of years we have compulsory desexing, so they're desexed at a very early age. Of those 6 dogs in the litter, what's the chance that the one that she keeps is going to be the best for behaviour? And what's the best age to assess that dog? If we're going to breed better dogs for behaviour, these dogs that go home as pets, that it's decided at 6 months, nah, they're not going to breed. Are we really going to be able to choose the best dogs for behaviour?
Yes, thank you, Mike. I think that is an absolutely critical point, and it scares the hell out of me that we desex all our good dogs, right? We pick all the very best dogs and we desex them, and we tell people to desex them, and that's been a terrific thing in terms of getting our shelter population manageable. The problem is that we desex all the good ones, and the bad ones not necessarily get desexed because they're coming from different environments. As a puppy, as a breeder, it's so hard to know. I can't evaluate dogs as puppies. I can, and I do. And what happens is I end up keeping way more dogs than are good for me because I can't choose at a very young age. The best age to evaluate the behaviour of a dog, I reckon, is about 6 years, not months, right? So you want to live with it for its whole life, and then you say, hey, this has been a really good dog, let's clone it. But that's not a good solution either. But I do think that you've hit the nail on the head, in fact, that we are taking all the good dogs out of our breeding population. I don't like that. That's scary, because we're going to end up with lots of who knows what.
Another question here. Well, a couple. The lady on the far right.
Hi, Sue Wigner. I'm just interested that I believe that a lot of the terms that are used concerning dogs become rather generic in their understanding. And several times in the course of your lecture, which I thoroughly enjoyed, by the way,
Thank you.
You used the phrase good temperament.
Yep.
And it does worry me that it makes an assumption that there is a perfect temperament, and when we place it in the context of everything else that you had to say, where you so specifically were telling us that dogs are placed into particular environments, each one with different expectations, and also if I add to that the equation, that it's generally understood that temperament is both generic and environment, I'm just a little concerned where you think we will get the perfect generic behavioural test for the dog.
Yep, good. Another really good question. Can you hear me without this turned on, because it was clashing with that one? I'll use this one. Another absolutely perfect question. I don't think there's any such thing as the perfect temperament, because I think it depends on what you want. You know, and some people want dogs that are really active, and some people want dogs that aren't, and some people want dogs that will, you know, do all sorts of things, and other people. So there is no such thing as the perfect temperament. I completely agree, and we mess up temperament with personality and behaviour all the time, and I make that mistake too, because, you know, who's perfect? But having said that, Tammy's going to talk to you about her study, and what she did was ask a whole lot of people what they want in their ideal dog. Right? And sure enough, everybody wants different things, but everybody wants a dog that's safe with kids. Right? So that's important. No matter what else you want, we want a dog that's safe with kids. We can identify that. Right? Then what I think we need to do, same as we have herding tests and, you know, retriever trials and all that kind of stuff, I think that we can start to pull apart behaviour and say, well, what I want in my dog is this trait, I'm going to select for that. And Tammy, what she's looking at is a trait that we're calling amicability, and we don't really know what that is yet. It's a start. We're trying to get one little step up the ladder of measuring something about behaviour in dogs that people care about, and if we can do that, then we can do it with other things as well. So we may end up with 20 different traits that we can identify and then select for, but you've got to start with, so the way science works is these tiny, tiny little baby steps, and that's the best we can do. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you that I shouldn't have. There is no such thing as the perfect dog or the best temperament. It depends what you want. But they should be safe with kids.
Perhaps one last question, if it's a quick one. The gentleman right in front of you, I think.
The gentleman, I wasn't quite sure who you were referring to there from. Mark Shepherd from Dogs. Mark Shepherd from Dogs Queensland. I think from my experience, the other big influence on the change in face of the dog in Australia is the influence that local government councils, for instance, have on what you can and can't keep, the numbers of dogs you can and can't keep, and then the influence that those councils then have on their ratepayers. There's many ratepayers around Australia who live in fear if their dog barks, if their dog, for instance, runs out and checks the postman, in inverted commas. So I think it's very much about not only public or community expectation of dogs, it's also a very strong influence the local councils are having on dog owners around Australia as well.
Yeah, I think that, again, that's true. And I think that it comes back to these perceptions we've got, that if people think of dogs as dangerous, they are going to bring in laws to stop that, because we are a risk-adverse community. We don't like risk at all, and there always is a risk with dogs, as there is with big brothers. You know, big brothers probably kill more kids than dogs do in Australia. So, and that's what I was saying about don't divide the world up into the pet owners and the breeders and the purebred breeders and the crossbreed breeders. We need to work together to represent ourselves to local government, to state government, to federal government, about all the benefits that dogs bring into the community, about the social benefits, the psychological benefits, the physical benefits. The fact that a barking dog isn't necessarily a dangerous dog. Sure, if a dog barks constantly, I can't bear it. You know? I run the pound at my local, where I live, and it's in the backyard, and my dogs are here and the pound dogs are over there, and if one of them barks all night, I just want to shoot it. You know, I really don't cope with a barking dog. My dogs don't bark at night unless someone comes in the driveway, and then they're allowed to. But we have these arbitrary distinctions. You know, you can bark now but not then, and that's okay but that's not okay, and we make all that up. So yeah, absolutely good point. We do need to get a handle on that too. Okay?
Thank you, Pauline.
Thank you.